Hey, this is Lo here, and in this video I want to explain how TagOn works with different types of destination URLs, so you will understand why when you create the shortened URLs, some of them may not work as expected. So first of all, I want to say that TagOn custom script and CDA feature don't work with all URLs on the internet. So if you use TagOn and you use the tracking code and pixel feature only, it will work with 100% of the URLs out there. But if you use the custom script and call to action feature, it will not work with 100% of the URLs out there. But what we guarantee is that we have higher success rate than other similar tools with the call to action feature. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how TagOn works with different types of destination URLs and why it has higher success rates than other similar tools with call to action feature. Okay, so when you try to shorten a URL right here, the first thing TagOn will try to do is TagOn will try to use a technology called iframe. So 100% of other tools similar to TagOn only use iframe. So this is the only way that they use to shorten the URLs. So TagOn also use iframe, but we also use a second method in case iframe doesn't work on that website. So there are two types of websites here: websites that work with iframe and websites that don't work with iframe. So we will try to use iframe when you first put the URL here. So for websites that work with iframe, when you shorten the URLs, you need to pay attention to whether the destination URLs has a secure connection or not, to make sure that you select the right version of the shortened URLs. So let me show you why it's that. Okay, so for example, this URL right here, it has a secure connection, which means it has HTTPS. When you shorten the URL like this, you can use the HTTPS version and HTTP version of the shortened URLs, and this applies to your custom domain as well. So both the HTTPS version and the HTTP version will work. Okay, so that is for websites that allows iframe and has a secured connection, which means it has HTTPS in the URL. But for websites that doesn't have a secure connection, for example, this website right here, when you shorten it with TagOn, what you need to do is you need to select the HTTP version, because if you go to the HTTPS version, as you can see, it's not loading the destination URL. This is how browsers work. It has a notification right here because of the insecure content, because the destination URL doesn't have a secure connection, and the only way to make it appear is to click on this and click on load and save scripts. So this is going to create a lot of hassles for your visitors, because no one is going to click this and load and save scripts. They will leave your shortened URLs if the page is not loading. So in this case, what I recommend is you use the HTTP version. So when you go to the HTTP version, it will display. Okay, so that's what you need to keep in mind. You need to know whether the destination URL is HTTP or HTTPS, and it's very easy to know right here, because websites with a secure connection will have HTTPS in the URL, and in this case it doesn't have a secure connection, so the browser is showing it's not secure, and it doesn't have HTTPS in the URL. So that's how TagOn works with URLs that work with iframe. But for URLs that don't work with iframe, and there are a lot of URLs that don't work with iframe, we have a second method that allows TagOn to work with these kinds of URLs. So for example, Capterra.com is a website that don't work with iframe. So when I put Capterra to create a shortened URL right here, I get a notice is that this destination URL might not work perfectly, but let's give it a shot, because with this second method, it might work or it might not. So if the website don't work with iframe and we use the second method, what you need to do is you need to try to go to the shortened URL to see if it works or not. So let's go to Capterra.com to see if it works. So Capterra.com is one of the sites that works very well with the second method that we're using right here. Let me show you another example. So I have a Zapier article right here, and this URL doesn't work with iframe, so TagOn will use the second method. Okay, so let's create a shortened URL. So when you go to the shorten URL right here, it has some display issues because the second method right here doesn't work with 100% of the site as well. So for example, Capterra is a site that it works very well with, but Zapier, it shows some display issues, specifically a white space like this. So it will depend on the destination URL that you use. But with the second method that we use right here, in addition to the iframe method, we can guarantee higher success rates than other similar tools with the call to action feature. So when you use TagOn and you go to a URL that doesn't load like this, and it has this little icon right here saying that it's trying to load some insecure content, you need to use the HTTP version of the shortened URL. And when you go to a shortened URL that doesn't display properly, you need to know that this is the second method that we're using, and the second method is not going to be working on 100% of the URLs. But keep in mind that we have higher success rate than other similar tools because we also has a second method. We also implement a second method as a backup if the website that you are trying to link to doesn't work with iframe. So I hope this video has explained to you how TagOn works with different types of destination URLs, so you can select the URL that works for you, and you understand why TagOn has better success rate than other tools. So I will have other videos explaining different aspects of TagOn very soon, and I will see you in the next video.